very much, Madam Commissioner, colleagues. I'm really enjoying this discussion. I hope we could actually bring it to our constituencies and member states. But I do believe the moment I begin talking about transnationalists back home, you know, there is big silence. The discussion just goes dead. That is the reality. And that's why I want to say, as a convinced European, that transnationalists are creating a problem rather than fixing it. If I am to be blunt, transnationalists are a problematic solution to a problem that did not exist to begin with. Transnationalists go against the very principle of European unity and equality of European citizens. They could create a division among MEPs based on their constituencies, creating confusion as to which constituencies are represented by which MEPs. This whole notion could add more distance between the elected transnational MEPs and their voters. It would in turn create questions about legitimacy of the elected MEPs and the applicability of their vote. Possibly it could trigger a discussion on European versus local MEPs, thus creating an additional dividing line in European politics. Indeed, I could go on, but I think this concept only deepens divisions in Europe, and this is the fundamental problem. I don't see any valid data that would tell us otherwise, and we don't have any examples from other political systems. Yet we can always argue Europe is sui generis. It is, but let's not experiment. Let's look at practical solutions, how we can bring more voters to the European elections in 2024. I'm saying this as somebody who is coming from a country that has seen the lowest turnout in European elections, and I can tell you convincingly, transnationalists are not going to resolve the problem. We should rather strive to bring Europe closer to our citizens by honest and diligent political work, not by creating transnationalists. Thank you very much.
We're elected today in two different constituencies. You're elected in Slovakia, I'm elected in Germany. I could argue now that my constituency is slightly larger than the one that you were elected in, yet we have the exact same rights, powers, our vote counts exactly the same. So how do you think that members elected on a transnational list would be any different from that?
The answer is very simple. We are elected on a single list. With two lists, you create two different classes of MEPs, two different classes of candidates, two different classes of people who are running for political office. And that is the problem. You also create different constituencies. At the moment, my country is a single electoral district. Very simple, very clear. This sort of revolution would not make, believe me, a positive difference when it comes to participation in European elections and a tie and a connection between those who vote and those who are elected.
My question is in regards to the European parties. I mean, how many of your voters really know the EPP? That's my first question. And the second question is, if you don't like the transnational list system, what is your idea of improving the European Union? Because we have already lost one member state, the United Kingdom. We need to get more democratic. What's your idea of improving the European Union? Thank you.
I don't think transnational lists are going to improve the European Union. We can lose any other member state because of the way we don't connect our domestic politics to European issues and European agenda to domestic politics. And this is not going to be done through transnational lists. Well, we have to be actively engaged. We have to have a much longer, much more massive campaign. We have to have a permanent campaign in our constituencies and bring the issues back to our voters. Talk to our voters, connect with them, and do this in a diligent work, through diligent work, not through social engineering such as transnationalists.